Okay, so dear students, today we are going to understand the topic of aggregations in fungi, right? So by now you already know that the fungi has a structure which is its vegetative structure. This vegetative structure is called hyphae. When it is a single strand, right, you already know that there is network of simple threads that is present, right? There is a huge network, right? And there is compartmentalization where every compartment has its own nucleus and all, right? So a kind of whole network is present. When there is a single filament, right, we call it hypha. And when there is like a whole network, many filaments, we call it hyphae, right? So hyphae is for many, right? And this whole network of hyphae is called mycelium, right? By now you already know this. So aggregations is what? Aggregations are usually when this hyphae, right, they become compacted, right, or we can say they aggregate together in various ways, right? So then we get something that is called modifications of hyphae, right? So these hyphae itself, they become compacted or aggregate together. All of these hyphae, they come together in various ways. They aggregate, that is, they get joined to each other and they form a modification which is called hyphae. सारे hyphae एक साथ मिलके और एक अलग अलग तरीके से कुछ स्ट्रक्चर्स बनाते हैं जिनको हम modifications of hyphae बोलते हैं. इन्हीं को हम aggregations बोलते हैं क्योंकि जो hyphae है वो एक दूसरे के साथ कॉम्पैक्ट होकर, एग्रीगेट होकर और एक अलग सा स्ट्रक्चर बनाते हैं जिनको हम बोलते हैं modifications, right? So these are basically the modifications of hyphae. So why do you think that fungi will make modifications? This is mainly for certain functions, maybe somatic functions, that is vegetative functions, for some special purposes, or it could be for reproductive purpose, right? So these are the two reasons why in some fungi you can see aggregations. Aggregations is not something that you can see in all fungi. So we can say that in some fungi, whole mycelium or a part of mycelium come together, right, and aggregate to form modifications, right? So these modifications are the aggregations that we are going to understand. Okay, so now we are going to list down the aggregations that you have to understand, right? So the types of aggregations in fungi is what we are going to understand one by one. So what are the types? The following types of aggregations can be seen. Number one is Placenkyma, right? Number 2 is mycorrhiza. Number 3 is rhizomorph. Number 4 is Aprosorium. Number 5 is Sclerotia. Number 6 is fructifications. And the last, number 7 is Haustorium. Right? So students, these are the types of aggregations which we are going to understand one by one. The first is Placenkyma, second mycorrhiza, third rhizomorph, fourth Aprosorium, fifth Sclerotia, sixth fructification, and seventh is Haustorium. So we'll start with the understanding of the very first type of modification, which is Placenkyma. Right? So what is a Placenkyma? Placenkyma is basically a network of loosely woven hyphae. Right? It is a network of hyphae which is loosely woven. ऐसा hyphae है जो एक दूसरे के साथ attached रहता है, loosely arranged है, right? But all type of hyphae fall into this category. सभी type के hyphae इस category को belong करते हैं. So all the type of hyphae that you know fall in this category. It is interwoven mass that you already know. All these are called Placenkyma, but Placenkyma has two types, right? There are two types in Placenkyma. Okay, the first type is, sorry for this bad line, but yeah, whatever. So Placenkyma has two types, right? One is the Prosenkyma, right? And another is Pseudoparenchyma. Right? One is Prosenkyma, another is Pseudoparenchyma. So Prosenkyma is like it looks like an elongated cell. So these are like mass of elongated cells, right? These are loosely woven, mass of loosely woven tissue. They look like that. And the most important part is that Prosenkyma, they don't lose their identity, right? Which means that these type of Placenkyma, they are more or less parallelly arranged. These type of hyphae, they are parallelly arranged and they are together like this. So we feel that these are like elongated cells. So most of these are parallelly arranged, right? And they look like elongated cells, right? This is loosely woven, and hence we say that they don't lose their identity, which means that though they are present like this, you can bifurcate that okay, this is a hyphae. ठीक है, कहने का मतलब क्या है कि हर एक हाइफे जो है वो आप अलग से बता सकते हो कि ये एक हाइफे है, ये दूसरा हाइफे है, ये तीसरा हाइफे है. पर प्रोसेनकाइमा में क्या होता है, सारा पैरेलल अरेंजमेंट होता है और ये जो पैरेलल अरेंजमेंट है उसकी वजह से ये इलोंगेटेड सेल्स की तरह दिखते हैं, बट ये अपनी आइडेंटिटी नहीं खोते. मतलब जो हाइफे है वो आपको अलग से पता चल जाएंगे. तो दैट इज अबाउट प्रोसेनकाइमा, राइट. Then what is a pseudoparenchyma? This can be seen in higher fungi. Pseudoparenchyma आप हायर फंजाई में देख सकते हो, ठीक है. Here what happens, the hyphae becomes intertwined. यहाँ पे हाइफे जो है वो इंटरट्वाइंड हो जाता है, मतलब एक दूसरे के साथ हाइफे इतना मिक्सअप हो जाते हैं कि दे लूज देयर इंडिविजुअलिटी, और वी कैन से दे लूज देयर आइडेंटिटी. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे क्या होता है, हाइफे एक दूसरे के साथ बहुत मिक्सअप हो जाते हैं, इतने मिक्सअप हो जाते हैं कि हम हर एक हाइफे को सेपरेट नहीं कर सकते. तो फॉर एग्जांपल ये एक हाइफे है, ठीक है, ये दूसरा हाइफे है, ये सब एक दूसरे के साथ इस तरीके से मिल जाते हैं सर्कुलर फॉर्म में, या फिर इस तरीके से they get mixed up with each other in such a way that you will not understand that which one is hyphae. There is no individuality. तो आप जब इसको दूर से देखते हो या फिर आप जब इसको देखते हो तो आपको ऐसा लगता है कि ये पैरेन्काइमा सेल है. So these look like parenchyma cells. Right, you know what are parenchyma cells? These type of cells together we call it parenchyma, but these are not parenchyma. These cells that looks like parenchyma are actually a mass of hyphae that are intertwined together. एक दूसरे के साथ इतना मिक्सअप हो गए हैं कि आपको ये parenchyma जैसा दिखता है, और इसलिए यहाँ पे एक टर्म यूज़ किया है जिसको हम बोलते हैं सूडो. ठीक है, सूडो का मतलब होता है फॉल्स. ओके, लेट अस मूव टुवर्ड्स अ सेकेंड टाइप ऑफ एग्रीगेशन which is mycorrhiza. Right, mycorrhiza, if we try to split this into two, myco means mushroom, right, myco is a term used for mushroom or fungus, and rhiza means roots, right. So mycorrhiza is basically a symbiotic association, right. This is a symbiotic association between the hyphae of fungus and the roots of higher plants, right. So this is basically a symbiotic association between what? Between hyphae and the roots of higher plant. ये एक symbiotic association है, mutual association है, जो फंगस के हाइफे और प्लांट के रूट के बीच में होता है, इसलिए हम इसको माइकोराइजा बोलते हैं. अब माइकोराइजा फॉर एग्जाम्पल बहुत सारे बड़े बड़े फॉरेस्ट ट्रीज में होता है, जैसे कि फॉर एग्जाम्पल इन पाइनस विच इज़ अ कॉनिफरस ट्री, right. So in pinus we can see mycorrhiza, and in relation to all the forest trees, all the huge trees, you can see mycorrhiza, right. Mycorrhiza is a very important kind of biofertilizer also, but anyway we are not gonna understand that. We are just going to briefly understand that what is the role of mycorrhiza, right. So in pinus what you can see is in the roots hyphae is present, right. Hyphae is present. This hyphae takes the place of root hairs, right. So in areas, in portions where hyphae of fungus is present, root hair is absent, okay, root hair is absent, right. So what is this hyphae doing? This hyphae is doing the work of root hair. So what is the work of root hair? The work of root hair is to absorb water and minerals from the deep down areas. So the same work is done here by the hyphae of the fungus, where it absorbs water and minerals from the depleted areas, right? This is the work of the mycorrhizal hyphae, right? Then what is the work of the tree? What does the tree provide? Tree provides food to the fungus, right? Because fungus are heterotrophic organisms, they cannot prepare their own food. So for the food they are dependent on the tree, where the tree provides the fungus with the food, and where the fungal hyphae, they take the place of root hair and work in the absorption of minerals from the depleted zones, minerals and water. And that is how mycorrhiza is an aggregation of fungi, where it is a mutualistic association between fungi and the root of higher plants. Mainly there are three types, not going very much deep. There are three types: ectomycorrhiza, endomycorrhiza, and third is ectendomycorrhiza. Ectomycorrhiza is present only in the outside layer of the host plant, right? As the name suggests, ecto. Endo is present inside of the host cell as well, right? Ecto remains only outside, endo goes inside and goes through the epidermis, enters into the cortex, and it spreads inside the. Okay, so let's start with the understanding of the third type of aggregation, which is called rhizomorph, right? Now, what is a rhizomorph? Rhizomorph is a very thick strand of root-like aggregations of fungi. So it is a very thick strand and it is a root-like aggregation, right? तो इसका क्या मतलब हुआ कि rhizomorph जो है ये रूट के जैसा दिखता है. दिस इज़ अ रूट लाइक एग्रीगेशन एंड हेंस इट इज़ अ वेरी थिक स्ट्रैंड. तो जिस तरीके से प्लांट के रूट्स होते हैं बिल्कुल उसी तरीके से राइजोमॉर्फ दिखते हैं, बट वो प्लांट के रूट नहीं होते, वो एक्चुअली में हाइफे सब मिल के राइजोमॉर्फ रूट जैसा स्ट्रक्चर बनाते हैं. तो हम अक्सर हाउ डू वी ड्रॉ रूट? इट इज़ लाइक फ्रॉम अ प्लांट मैनी thick strands, they go underground, right? And then they spread in various directions, right? So that way only you can see rhizomorph, which are thick strand, but all of these thick strand is actually filled with hyphae, right? ये जो पूरा strand है ये हाइफे से भरा हुआ होता है. इट इज़ ऑल फिल्ड अप विथ हाइफे. मैनी हाइफे दे कंबाइन टुगेदर टू मेक दिस टाइप ऑफ थिक स्ट्रैंड विच वी कॉल एज अ rhizomorph, which looks root like, but it is not a root. It is actually hyphae only, but it is a modification of hyphae, right? So this is a very thick strand and it is a root like aggregation which looks like root of the plant, right? And here what you have to notice is that the hyphae, they lose their identity, right? Here the hyphae lose their identity, meaning that you cannot identify when you will see the rhizomorph. You will not be able to identify that विच हाइफे इज़ वॉट, देर इज़ नो डिफ्रेंसिएशन. आपको देखकर एज अ होल पता ही नहीं चलेगा कि हाइफे कौन सा है, क्योंकि ये पूरा रूट जैसा स्ट्रक्चर बनता है और आपको देख के ऐसा लगेगा कि ये रूट है, बट ये एक्चुअली रूट नहीं है. रूट जैसा स्ट्रक्चर लिया है जिसमें पूरा अंदर हाइफे भरा हुआ है. ठीक है. सो देयरफॉर दे लूज देयर आइडेंटिटी एंड दे बिहेव एज वन ऑर्गेनाइज्ड यूनिट. राइट, ये अपनी आइडेंटिटी लूज कर देते हैं और एक सिंगल यूनिट की तरह ये पूरा राइजोमॉर्फ एज अ होल काम करता है. अनदर इम्पॉर्टेंट पॉइंट दैट यू हैव टू नोटिस इज that rhizomorph have higher infection capacity, right, which is obvious because you know that one hyphae is like very thin microscopic strand, right, but when many hyphae they come together they make rhizomorph, which is root like aggregation. So obvious it is that many hyphae they are compiled together and hence the infection capacity of rhizomorph as a whole is very high in comparison to one single hyphae. Right, now in what can you see rhizomorph? Rhizomorph is most commonly seen in a fungus which is called Armillaria milia. Right, Armillaria milia is also called honey fungus. Right, Armillaria milia is also called honey fungus, and this is basically a mushroom, right, and it is a very serious parasite of trees. ट्री का ये बहुत सीरियस पैरासाइट है. ये एक फंगस है, एक मशरूम है जिसको आर्मिलारिया मिलिया बोलते हैं या तो हनी फंगस भी बोलते हैं. ठीक है, तो ये जो पर्टिकुलर आर्मिलारिया मिलिया है इसका राइजोमॉर्फ क्या करता है. ठीक है, सो दिस इज़ फॉर एग्जाम्पल वन ट्री, दिस इज़ फॉर एग्जाम्पल अनदर ट्री, this is for example another tree. In the forest there are many trees, right? So this is a mushroom, as I said. So for example this mushroom is growing. This mushroom will do, they will spread out thick strand like projections in the tree where they have already done infection and also in the neighboring tree. So this strand like projection will keep on spreading underground and they will occupy all the plant, and like this they will again move towards the next plant, and like this they will completely parasitize the plant and the tree gets destroyed. Like this, the thick strand like projections that you see are actually rhizomorph. Rhizomorph looks like root, but it is not root and it is filled with hyphae. So therefore this particular mushroom is called as a serious parasite of trees. Sometimes in the forest you can also see such root like rhizomorph structure on wood logs, right? So you know in forest there are many dead wood logs. In those dead wood logs or in the fallen wood logs you can see root like network of projections on the wood. These network of projections are also rhizomorph. This is basically the aggregation of fungi which looks like root. It has completely occupied the wood log and it is taking nutrition from it. So therefore rhizomorph is a root-like aggregation which has a higher infection capacity, and the best example is Armillaria milia, which is a mushroom called honey fungus which projects its rhizomorph underground and it completely parasitizes and destructs the trees. Right? So that is about the third type of aggregation, which is rhizomorph. Okay, so let us now understand the fourth type of aggregation, which is called Aprosodium. Okay, so now this Aprosodium is a very important structure and you can see it very much commonly present in parasitic fungi. Right, so in all the parasitic fungi you can see Aprosorium. What is a parasitic fungi? Parasitic fungi is a fungi which requires living host or living host like plants or animals to grow. So these type of fungi have the structures which is called Aprosorium. Right, so how does an Aprosorium look like? Aprosorium is a swollen structure which is present in the infection hyphae. You can see Aprosorium present in the infection hyphae. Right? So any parasitic fungi has one task to do. What is their task? They have to get in the host tissue. They have to enter the host tissue so that they can then start spreading inside and taking nutrients. Right? So Aprosorium is one such structure that the parasitic fungi produce to get inside of the host. Right? So Aprosorium is basically, we can say it is a hypha pressing organ. So what Aprosorium does? Aprosorium takes the hypha inside into the host of the tissue by pressurizing. Right? They create a pressure because of which the hypha gets inside the host tissue. So let us see how does this takes place. Right? So for example, this is the host tissue. Right? And let us assume that a conidium has landed over here. Right? Conidium is asexual spore of fungus, and now this conidium will start sending germination tube. Right? So this that you see is a germination tube. Right? And this germination tube will now produce a swollen structure. This swollen structure is called Aprosorium. Right? So this swollen structure, what it will do? It will create a pressure downwards, and because of that pressure, a infection hyphae, or we can say a penetration peg or a penetration hyphae will enter inside the host tissue. So after this insertion, the hyphae starts spreading inside, and like this the tissue gets parasitized. Right? So Aprosorium utilizes a specific type of pressure which is called Turgor pressure. Right? You must have heard about Turgor pressure. So because of Turgor pressure, the pressure goes downwards, and because of that the insertion hyphae gets inside the host tissue. This is the first step towards any infection. Right? So this is what happens with the help of Aprosorium. Right? So we can say that Aprosorium adheres to the surface of host tissue. Right? And then what it does? It pressurizes the hyphae to enter the host. Right? So that the hyphae can start entering the host tissue. This is done by Turgor pressure produced in the Aprosorium, which is a swollen structure present in parasitic fungi. So therefore Aprosorium is a very important structure and an aggregation of hyphae present in all the parasitic fungi. So with this our fourth aggregation, that is Aprosorium, is done. Okay, so by now we are done with Platenchyma, Mycorrhiza, Rhizomorph and Aprosorium. Moving towards the fifth type, which is a Sclerotia. right? Sclerotia is an aggregation of fungi, right? This sclerotia is a kind of very hard and dark resting body. It is a hard structure, it is a dark structure, and it is a resting body, right, that you can see in certain fungi. Not present in all, but yes, in some you can see sclerotia, right? So sclerotia is a very hard structure and a very dark structure which is basically filled with hyphae. Right? And this hyphae actually is present whole inside this sclerotia, and it is a dormant structure. Right? So basically a sclerotia is produced. Why any organism produces a dormant structure? Because they have to survive unfavorable environmental conditions. So the fungi here produce sclerotia to survive the unfavorable conditions, right? So to survive the unfavorable environmental conditions, sclerotia is produced, right? So example of sclerotia is Claviceps purpurea, right? This is a fungus, right? Claviceps purpurea is also called ergot, right? It causes a disease which is called ergot disease. This is a disease in many grasses and cereals. Right? So sclerotia, the best example is Claviceps purpurea, where there are wheat grains. I hope you must have seen how the whole wheat grains look like. So the wheat grain, when you buy from the market or grocery shop, you must have seen that some wheat grains are completely black, right? Some wheat grains are completely black and not of a dark yellow hue, right? So this completely dark structure, the completely dark wheat grain that you can see is actually a sclerotia, which is a hard structure, as I had mentioned earlier, which is a dark structure, and also it is a resting body which is filled with hyphae. Right? So why has this sclerotia formed? It has formed to survive unfavorable conditions, and when conditions will be favorable, they will germinate and then produce infection in other grains or in other plants, right? So that is about Claviceps purpurea, very common in many cereals and in wheat also. So whenever next time dark colored wheat grain comes in your hands, understand that it is basically a fungal infection which is called sclerotia. It is aggregation of fungi. Another example of sclerotia is a mushroom, a polypore, right? This polypore is called Lacocephalum milletae. Lacocephalum milletae, right? This is a polyporous mushroom, right? So this Lacocephalum milletae also produces sclerotia, right? And this sclerotia is of a very big size, the size of a man's head, right? So it has size of a man's head. So here in the board I cannot show you how does it look like, but I will suggest that you Google search, right? You search Lacocephalum melite. What you will see is a image of a black, very black, dark structure which looks like the size of a man's head, from which the mushroom germinates, right? So you can search this, and you can also search Claviceps purpurea ergot, where you can see weed infections diagram, right? So that will give you more clarity. For now, this is what is Sclerotia. Sclerotia is a very hard structure. It is composed of hyphae, and it remains dormant for survival until favorable conditions is obtained. It will start germinating, or it will remain as it is. Claviceps purpurea is a very common example, but there are certain Sclerotia which are very big, size of a man's head, which you can see in Lacocephalum melite, from which the mushroom germinates, right? So this is about the fifth aggregation, which is called Sclerotia. Let us now move towards the sixth type of aggregation, which is called fructifications. Now what are fructifications? Fructifications, as the name suggests, are all the fruiting bodies of fungi that you must have observed somewhere along, right? For example, ascocarp, for example, basidiocarp, for example, in Paziza you see ascocarp, right? So all these are fructifications in which the fungi produce spores, and then those spores they get dispersed, and then they produce new infection, right? So fructifications are also an aggregation of fungi only, an aggregation of hyphae only, right? So all the hyphae, they come together in various ways to produce these various types of fructifications. So these fructifications you can see in higher fungi, right? Like Ascomycetes, like Basidiomycetes, like Deuteromycetes, you can see fructifications, right? So we will just take a brief look into what all various types of fructifications are there. So we will understand with, first of all, Ascomycetes, right? Ascomycetes, if you remember, is a fungi which is produced in ascus, and ascus is present in ascocarp. So basically there are spores, right? These spores are called ascospores. These ascospores are present inside a structure. This structure is called ascus, right? And this ascus is also present on a fruiting body, right? This fruiting body we called ascocarp, right? So this type of structure you have seen in Paziza, right? But now, just now we will understand that in Ascomycetes the fruiting body are of three types, right? Which three types? First is Clistothecia or Clistocarp, right? What is a Clistothecia or Clistocarp? So in a Clistothecia or Clistocarp, the whole ascocarp is closed. There is no opening, like you can see an opening here, but here there is no opening. It is a circular structure, and all the ascus is present inside, right? And this ascus has spores inside, right? So this is an enclosed structure where there is no opening. This type of ascocarp you can see in erysipelas, right? So in erysipelas you can see this type of an ascocarp which is called Clistothecia. The another type is Apothecia, right? So apothecia is what? This that you have seen is apothecia. This is called apothecium, which you must have seen in Phazyza. Right? So cup shaped, saucer shaped ascocarp, apothecium, in which there are many like this ascus present. Right? And in the ascus there are many ascospores present. So these spores are called ascospores. Right? So this is another thing. The third type is perithecia, or it is also called pseudothecia. Right? So what is there in perithecia or pseudothecia? Just like Clistothecia, mostly it is closed, but there is a small opening. Right? This small opening is called ostiole, and the ascus are arranged inside, and there are ascospores inside. Right? So this type of ascocarp is called perithecia or pseudothecia, in which ostiole is present, one small opening is present, so that the ascospores can get discharged outside. तो फ्रुक्टिफिकेशंस में एस्कोमाइसिटीज के 3 टाइप्स होते हैं, क्लिस्टोथीसिया और क्लिस्टोकार्प, जो पूरी तरीके से क्लोज होता है, कोई ओपनिंग नहीं होती, सारे एस्कस अंदर प्रेजेंट है. दूसरा होता है एपोथीसिया, जो आप पजाइजा में देख सकते हो, जहाँ पे सॉशर शेप स्ट्रक्चर होता है और उसमें एस्कस प्रेजेंट होते हैं और एस्कोस्पोर्स होते हैं. तीसरा होता है पेरीथीसिया या सूडोथीसिया, जो जहाँ पे एक छोटी सी ओपनिंग होती है जिसको ऑस्टियोल बोलते हैं, और यहाँ पे अंदर एस्कस प्रेजेंट होते हैं. सो दिस ऑल फ्रुक्टिफिकेशंस that you have seen maybe in your practical lab also, all these fructifications are aggregations of hyphae only. Right? Now we move towards the second type of higher fungi, which is Basidiomycetes. This includes all of your mushrooms. Right? So Basidiomycetes have their spores. Right? They have their spores, which is called basidiospore. Right? And this basidiospore is present on basidium. Right? So basically what I have to show you is that basidium is something like this, over which you can see basidiospores present. Right? So basidium is like this, and over which basidiospores is present. Now in Basidiomycetes the spores are exposed outside. Right? Whereas in Ascomycetes you will see that the spore is enclosed inside. Right? This is a very big difference between Asco and Basidiomycetes. Right? So the Basidiomycetes have basidiospores present, right, which is present on the basidia. And now we will take a look into the third type, which is our Deuteromycetes, which are also called as the asexual fungi. Right? So the third type of fructification that you can see is in Deuteromycetes, which are mostly all the asexual fungi. Right? In this, what you can see is specific structures, which is called Coremia or Cinnamata. Right? And one another structure which is called Pycnidia. So what is a Coremia or Cinnamata? Coremia or Cinnamata are many conidiophores present together, which have conidium. So like this, you know that there is a conidiophore which bears the conidium, right? So like this, when many conidiophores are present together with the conidium, we call it coremia or cinnamata, right? So these are your conidiums, right? And when all of these are present together, we call it coremia or cinnamata, right? And when this coremia or cinnamata is present inside a fruiting body, right? So then we call this fruiting body as pycnidia, right? So in Deuteromycetes you can see coremia or cinnamata, where so many conidiophores are present together bearing the conidia on the top. बहुत सारे conidiophores एक साथ इकट्ठा होकर बहुत सारे conidia top पे present होते हैं, तो इनको कोरेमिया और सिन्नेमाटा बोलते हैं. और जब यही कोरेमिया और सिन्नेमाटा एक फ्रूटिंग बॉडी के अंदर प्रेजेंट होता है तो इसको पिक्नीडिया बोलते हैं. ठीक है, तो ड्यूटेरोमाइसिटीज में आप ये फ्रुक्टिफिकेशंस देख सकते हो. तो फ्रुक्टिफिकेशंस आप जितने भी देखते हो ये फंजाई के हाइफे के एग्रीगेशंस होते हैं जो सब एक साथ मिलके अलग अलग तरीके से इन फ्रूट. Okay, now let us understand the seventh and the last type of aggregation, which is Haustorium. Haustoria you have already heard before also, that it is present mostly in parasitic fungi. Again, this is a very important structure of all the parasitic fungi, right? So this Haustoria is formed inside the host tissue. You can see Haustoria inside the host tissue, right? So now you recall the diagram that I have drawn in Aprosorium, right? We had drawn a diagram where I had drawn a conidium. The conidium germinates, right? It germinates to produce a swollen structure, Aprosorium, which gives, penetration peg. Now this penetration peg, this penetration peg will get deep inside, and once it is inside the host tissue, it will make finger-like projections. These finger-like projections are actually what is called as the Haustoria, right? So this is a structure which the fungi makes to absorb nutrients from the host, right? So the goal of every parasitic fungi is to obtain nutrients from the host tissue, because that is something over which the parasitic fungi are dependent for their nutrition. So the conidium produces germination tube, it produces Aprosorium, which produces a penetration peg, and then it gets inside where it produces this finger-like projections. So these Haustoria are basically finger-like projections which then sucks nutrients from the host tissue. So it is a kind of adhesive structure, right? So what is the difference between Aprosorium and Haustoria? Aprosorium is always present on the surface of the host tissue where it will pressurize to produce a penetration peg, whereas Haustoria is an adhesive structure which will be formed inside the host tissue to absorb nutrients from the host tissue. So this is the importance of Haustoria. See, so all the Haustorias are also aggregation of hyphae, right? So now I hope that this topic is clear with you, where we have covered the last type of aggregation also. I explained about Planctenchyma, Mycorrhiza, Rhizomorph, Aprosorium, Sclerotia, Fructification and Haustorium. All of these are types of aggregations. These are modifications of hyphae which the fungi produces as and when required maybe for reproductive functions like in fructifications or sclerotia, maybe for survival function like in aprosoria, or maybe for spreading itself into the host tissue like in aprosorium and haustoria or rhizomorph. So all of these are aggregations in fungi, and when you are being asked to write a note on aggregations in fungi, you have to explain all of this with diagram, at least rough diagram wherever possible, so that will fetch the purpose. So thank you, and this was my first attempt to explain something online with the help of chalk and talk. If you think that this was also good, then do let me know, so we can make some videos, some lectures in this form also, because most of the time I always present with the help of presentation, as that is the way which I prefer, but then this way also we can do some topics. Do let me know. Thank you.